will invite our Venerable Bhante Kusala ji for our Dhamma discourse.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
So I had another event that was just being wrapped up, so I had to really be present in that event. And that kept me from listening to this story that I hear very good comments of. And next time, I will make sure that I'm here on time at 10 in the morning. So good morning and good evening to whoever joining this moment. So today, I love to share, connecting with the previous event also, about the difference between wants and needs, which is something that children need to learn to differentiate from the beginning of their life. So, so what do you think is the difference between wants and needs? I think you can just bring your thoughts in and maybe think about it. Sometimes we have our needs, basic needs, like living in a home, our clothes, our medicine, and food. And then we have just our other wants, like buying a speaker, buying a cell phone, and sometimes getting a car. And these also help us in our life. But suppose you are backpacking to India, and now you have to decide what things you will bring with you, because you don't want to carry a huge backpack that is heavy and burdensome, and it's weighing on you, and you get exhausted taking it here and there. So now you need to make a decision, like, what things should I bring with me? What are my basic needs? Because you're going to backpack, you're going to just travel with just the basic needs. So I think I would think of putting some medications for me, because I may get exposed to germs and allergies, and I may need to have some things ready with me. And then I will need a towel, the basic needs. But you are not going to bring your car with you. You can't, backpack with, that's a different story. You can't bring your house with you. So the Buddha's advice for monks is to really do this backpacking. Monks are advised to just have their bowl and 2 robes, the essentials with them, and they go on. They go on, very simple. And the importance of doing that is, for monks, they have less things to worry about. Nobody can steal anything from them. Because you don't have to protect anything. You just have, nobody will steal your bowl unless it is made of gold. And you will also make sure when you are backpacking, as a layperson, you will not be bringing expensive items like your gold jewelries, bangles, like things. You don't want to get the attention on you, because sometimes when they find that you have valuable things, sometimes some evil person could come and assault you just to take the ownership of something they didn't have. Such is the world. People will come and take the ownership of other people's things when they see the valuable things that you have and that they don't have those things. So monks taught the word santuti, contentment, being content with what you have. Nowadays, people have bigger houses, small families, great medications, but poor health, a lot of education, but, lack of common sense. Why are we seeing that kind of a world now? So from simplicity, we have moved to really exuberant lifestyles, a lot of, style, glamour in us, but inside, so much of anxiety and depression, suicidal tendencies. If you look at the world to observe the negativities, you will see a ton in that negative aspect. But you can also appreciate positivities in the world. You will see tons of good things in the world. But I want to, teach this, important lesson. Since the child, start of your journey, as a child, you need to have simplicity, the ability to differentiate between wants and needs. This is because when I was a child, I grew up in Sri Lanka in a for first formative years of my life. I grew up in a tropical land close to a river, not that close, and that river dries up sometimes. And my parents had to dig the ground in the riverbed to get the water. So we learned to appreciate the value of water at that time. And when the rivers dried up, we didn't have any water coming, so we had to really uh, dig the well, and then when the water comes out, we had to bring it home and filter it and boil it and drink. That's how we survived. And people, the whole village, this is Thanamal village, Sri Lanka. Even now, when the drought season comes, it dries up, and people don't have water. So people had to, those days we had to pray, and we had to wait until water is ready. Water comes.
Yes.
So we really.
Yes. Yeah.
Rohan, are you mute? Okay, Rohan. So I have advised previously not to chat and not to speak when a Dhamma talk is in progress. So I appreciate your silence and attention, because attention is 100% needed and important in your life. So I was, and then we grew up in an environment like that. We had days that we didn't have much food to eat. My parents had 5 children, and my mom was going through depression because she lost 5 of her siblings because of various things. That she lost one of her brothers when that brother joined the electricity board, and someone turned on a switch that they were not supposed to, and the electric shock killed him. This added into my mom's depression a little bit. And then my mom's another brother, he got attacked by a wild elephant and died. And my mom's sister, my aunt, she got killed by a poisonous snake. The snake venom killed her. And another fell from a tree and died. And another one from an illness. It's a big family of 10, but they all had gone through these unfortunate incidents. So my mom was very protective of us. We were five children. And then when my mom went into that kind of a depression, my dad was struggling to feed the family, bring us up and raise us into, giving us good education and somehow making sure we went to school. So I learned from the earlier days to survive with the basic needs. But one thing we knew that we had enough. We were always told that we had enough. We walked to the school. We couldn't afford to buy a bus ticket. So we had to get ready early in the morning, before 6 in the morning, to start walking to the school. By the time we reached the school, it was about the time by 7:30 we were there at the school. On rainy days, I can still smell, when we walk by the road, we see frogs killed by when it is a rainy day, frogs killed, and we smell them. That's like a science class altogether on the go. So the buses or vehicles trampling these little creatures, and we notice these things when we go to the school, and we see stray dogs. We see a lot of things. We see the whole village waking up in the morning. And this was good experience for us. We got exercise like that. We didn't appreciate it that much at that time. And when we went to school, I noticed that some children brought food and they shared, and I was very appreciative of those of my friends who were willing to share food with us. I still remember some days we were hungry, and these other friends shared food, and that was our merits, that we have earned some merits to survive this way. When we went home, my mom had cooked the same food, the food we had the other day. So this was the kind of life that I had, and I learned the value of really the smallest thing that we had. So we never threw away our towels, or we had the same towel for maybe 10, 15 years, because we cleaned it and we used it. And later in my life, I saw in people having abundance of things and not appreciative of the things they had. They were really like trashing things that they could still use. And when I came to United States, also because of my education background, and I noticed this is a materialistic society. People have abundance of things. They have too many things and they use it half, and they are unhappy. They go on buying something else, and they have too many things in their homes. And even when they had too many things, they have not used even half of it, and they are thinking of buying more. I learned to compare my life, since, when I was a small kid to now, when I'm seeing the materialistic American society, capitalistic American society, too many things, and they are still wanting more. I learned that, small is beautiful. Like if they had a small house like ours, in that small house, we didn't have separate rooms. In our house, when we grew up, it was built on clay, and we had bed bugs coming, and we had to make sure we stayed clean to avoid bed bugs. And we hear everybody snoring. When somebody is sick, we knew somebody was sick. We knew we had to look after them, and we knew what time somebody woke up. We knew somebody was studying, and we had to show respect to them. And we knew somebody had to stay up late to study. All these things were my experiences. And so we were living on top of a mountain where we didn't have much water, so we had to climb up the mountain with water. So these were like giving us great life skills, and now we can survive anywhere in the world. And I think children here, when they grow up, the school bus comes to their home early in the morning, and they get up and get ready and go, and they are brought to the school. And when they are brought to the school, they are just even still, sometimes the excitement of going to school is not there. Their parents have to drag the the children from bed and put them in bed again sometimes, because putting them, to really motivate them to bring them off the bed. And again, like after 5 minutes, the parents have to run and uh, take them out the bed. Why is this? Because children don't have any comparison to see what life is like in other parts of the world. So if you do use your thoughts and compare, you will notice that you are having a blessed life. And normally you are used to, like, children, when they come to TikTok, they complain about, this is how my parents say they went to school. These are stories I see, some people send me TikTok videos about how children think how their parents went to school. So children have had, that comparison only because they heard from their parents that this is how they went to school. Well, their parents have told them about how they survived, how much hard work they did, and how they mastered in their education to come to United States because they knew that they had better opportunities here, and this is a place where they wanted to raise a family. So when they raise a family here, they, I think, primarily focused on bringing up their children, and I think, they have the example of the difference between wants and needs. When they come here, they bring up children in the United States, and these children are demanding things from them, things that their parents didn't have when in their childhood. Sometimes children are given expensive items like cell phones, and now don't think that I am complaining about these things. These are useful things. But sometimes you have been given an iPhone XR, and all of a sudden Apple released iPhone 12, and children are now unhappy about the iPhone XR they have. They need the iPhone 12 because they think it is faster, they have better camera, but they don't have a goal. They don't want to be a cameraman, but they just like the fact that it is faster. You have faster internet, faster 5G speed, but there is no goal. Like, what are you going to accomplish with it? And then when they ask that question from the children, they will say, "Oh, I will make use of it for my betterment." They don't have a clear answer about it. Sujata, your camera is moving rapidly. Can you just? I see that as the focus. Sujata Lokhande. I don't know whether to focus on that or focus on what I see on the screen. So thank you for holding it straight, so I don't have to get distracted on it. Thank you so much for your patience. Anyway, so when we have wants and needs, we have the comparison with basics that we have in our life. We focus on hundreds of things, and I have a child introduced to me by her father. She lost her mom for cancer, and this child says um, to her, she's still her teenager, she's going through her teenage years. She has a lot of grudge against her father, a lot of grudge because her father is an IT technician. He knows a lot about computers, and he wants his daughter, to learn not about IT, but it's something for her own future. And she says, "No, I don't have to. Just because you know IT, you know things about computers. I don't have to even know computers. I don't have to." Well, the father is not insisting on learning computers. Father is kind of teaching the child, like, you need some skills in the future to survive. And the father says, you might be working, if you haven't got any education, you will be working in some kind of maybe someplace where you don't really, where you can work without having much education. And she's like, that's okay, that will be my life. So this hurts the feelings of the parents, because they know that these children have the potential to really achieve some things, but it looks like the child is not motivated, no matter how much facilities, uh, wants and needs fulfilled by the parent, because children act annoyed. Whenever an advice is given, they act annoyed. They act like they have a piece of their body is taken from the from them. So the father comes and asks me, like, what should I do? Like, can she join your meditation? And when she joins the meditations, she say, oh, I think I have other things to do. When she goes to do other things, honestly, she doesn't have much to do. She uses that time as an excuse, and she goes on to a chat group using her phone and complain about the father, complain about things. And what has happened here is that children have not learned that they have they have full potential in their life. Only in their formative years, if they learn the full potential, they can see where they can end up. Without seeing that, without seeing the value of their full potential, they will be running after wants. Your backpacking life in your journey, in your life journey, will be burdensome to yourself. And you will learn these responsibilities in the future when you come to a space in your life where you will have responsibilities. Responsibilities as a person who runs a company, a person who may be raising children, responsibilities as a person who may be become an uncle or an aunt to somebody, or responsibilities as a person who is working in some place. Then only you realize that, oh, this is what my parents were telling me. Then, having learned that, they will learn that they have missed half of their time to overcome these difficulties or challenges that they are stuck in where they are without having any common sense. Now you have to learn from the beginning, and it's very difficult because your brain has already formed according to what has been given to, what has become their pattern of the brain, and that is how the brain has been functioning. So for all the children here, I say, the first thing I will encourage you to do is the spiritual time you are spending here in the Dhamma school. This is the time to meditate. This is the time to pray. And also personally in your life, because you are meeting only on Sundays here, personally in your life, every day, please have a prayer time. Please have a meditation time. Okay? Prayer time and meditation time as a Buddhist kid. So at that moment, you set your goals to the Buddha. You tell the Buddha and to heavenly beings that this is my goal, and please help me spiritually. And you need to prove yourself that you are a kid who is keeping the 5 precepts, and you keep the 5 precepts, and you continue to purify your mind through prayer and meditation. And how do you pray? You pray, say, dear Lord Buddha, my mind is clean today. I may have done some mistakes in my life. I spoke badly to my mom. I spoke badly to my teacher. I spoke badly to myself. I did something bad to myself. And please, with your guidance, I will clean my mind, and I promise to maintain the cleanliness of my mind. So this is how you pray. This has to be done every single day, because when you sit cross-legged in front of a little Buddha statue, the whole big qualities of the Buddha manifest in front of you, giving you a moment of peace, a moment of prayer, because meditation is the time that you listen to the Buddha. Prayer is time that you speak to the Buddha. You see the difference? Prayer is the time you speak to the Buddha. Meditation is the time you listen to the Buddha. At that meditation time, beautiful thoughts that you never experienced before will come to you and make space in you. and you will breathe in and breathe out and relax. And at that very moment, when you are relaxed, you will have an awakening moment that, oh, I don't really, need so and so thing that, you thought you needed. I can, use something else for the same goal that I wanted to achieve, that I have the basics I need. So you don't have to go online shopping and order this and that. You don't have to, you can use this life skills that you have learned. You can do online search to find alternatives. But be mindful that all the things that you find online, sometimes people do online search to find about something bad they do regularly. And some people have justified it, saying, oh, it's okay, you can do it. And nothing harmful has happened. I have done it for 30 years in my life and nothing harmful has happened. But that is their experience. They don't even know how much harm they have exercised in their life because they don't have any comparison. So please be mindful about the online advice you get. But if you want to be creative, sometimes you may get better online advice. So since your childhood, go into your room, sit in your bed, not lying down, and make sure that you look around carefully. Have you become simpler in your life? Have you become, humble with the things that you have? Do I have too many things? And have I not been generous? Have I not been, experiencing generosity in my life by giving away too many things I own? So have I been generous by, you know English already much better than so many people in India that they are struggling to learn English, unlike children here. Have I written stories and shared freely online and printed them and published for others to learn? Have I used my creative skills? Have I, scheduled my day, organized my day in such a way that I dedicate my time for improvement? Can I make it a business in my life? I think these are things that children need to think of when they are small. Anyway, it's 11 o'clock. I am going to stop here. Any questions? Wants and needs and spiritual life. If you don't, if you don't want to ask questions, you can use the chat box, but I encourage you to ask so we hear your voice and understand where you are.
Hello.
I saw you on mute.
Yeah. I have a question.
Sure.
Bhante, this is Chatak Dhakne from Michigan. So it was a very, very nice talk.
Thank you.
Basic question. Mm-hmm. So when you try to live a simpler life mm-hmm. with the basic necessities you have,
yeah,
and I usually find that I get intimidated when people have, let's say, a very luxurious, expensive car, and that kind of, expensive video games or like those things. How do you silence your mind? How do you mm-hmm. cut the noise? How do you, keep enjoying your simpler life? What kind of guidance you will give?
So the fact that you are asking this question alone suggests that your own mind knows that this is a problem, right?
Yes.
That's the basic idea, understanding that we know that we don't have to have it. So I think wisdom teaches us that, can I have a car that is safer for me versus having the most luxurious car? And having that luxurious car is addressing the ego aspect in your life, in our life, isn't it? that, and also low self-esteem, because we think that somebody else has it and we don't have it. And we put ourselves in a lower position. And the Buddha says, either you are having low or a high self-esteem, or you compare with others. All these are problems. That's how the Buddha said. Whether you had Hinamana or Adhimana, or you had Samana, you compare that I am similar to that person. These are all problems created by the mind. The Buddha said, just have realistic, yathartha, understanding that sometimes, think about the person who is having, if they can afford a BMW, the latest BMW or the latest Tesla or Porsche or something that is the latest, and they live a simpler life, and they are content, less problematic, they have not broken their precepts. It's probably, that is where we need to be mindful of. Like, maybe we can have your sila, your virtues as your wealth. That is more wealth than any other wealth that you can have. If you can be content in that place, I think this paves the way to owning in the future, because of those people have virtuous in life, then they achieve these things. But those others who reach to those wealth standards because of drugs and other things, selling drugs and stuff like that, quick ways to become wealthy, they are unhappy inside. They know that they did something illegal, something not right. They have ruined somebody's life to reach that standards in life. The Buddha appreciated people whose wealth is virtues. And the Buddha said, those people who have wealth as their virtues, this is a perspective to have. They are going to enjoy heavenly rewards and better future lives because of their current virtues they have had in life. So this is where we need to purify ourselves. Instead of having a big house and big conceit, big mana, living, moving to a smaller place. When I lived in Harvard area, my friend came to visit me from Sri Lanka with his wife, and he cried. He saw that I was living in a very small closet-like room, and I was happy. And he said, you do all these things for poor people in Sri Lanka, and you live with such a small, in such a small room? And I said, yes. I have the whole house here. I share it with other people. When I need to use the kitchen, I only use it at that time. I don't have to have a kitchen inside my room. So when we need to use the living room, I go there and, use it. I don't have to have a living room inside my room because I don't have nothing to hide. I like to socialize. I go socialize with people down there. I don't have to have it in my room. So that is, I showed to him from my example, and I'm still happy about that moment. I was able to save and send it to poor people in Sri Lanka, bring somebody's life to better standards. And I think for you, I think these might have taught you something. Does that help? Please let me know.
Yes, thank you, Bhante.
Sometimes we are intoxicated with comparisons and thoughts, and we are drunk with those.
That was really beautiful, Bhanteji, because our children's story was actually on comparison and not doing comparison today. So that was really beautiful.
I kind of sensed that. I felt really bad. Oh, I wish I stayed in this throughout this presentation. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we should move forward because our next speaker is here. So thank you so much and for a beautiful talk.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. So our guest speaker today is Siddhi Jadhav, and she's going to talk about unseen world of transgender. So Siddhi is a researcher, photographer, and a designer who desires to walk the unexplored paths. Currently working as a freelance graphic designer, and on the other hand, researching hijras who still have questions on their existence in the 21st century. She wants to blur the boundaries which society has built over time. So, through the tool of photography, she captures their unseen worlds, revealing their background stories through interviews. And she's a receiver of fellowship from the Ministry of Culture, Government of India in 2019 for her research-based photographic engagement with the same subject. So we are very excited for Siddhi to be here. We have known Siddhi indirectly through her husband, who presented at during Ambedkar lecture series in Boston Study Group, and we've heard some really amazing things about your work, Siddhi. So we are really excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. Namo Buddhaya to everyone. I hope my voice is clear.
Yes, it's good.
Yes. So I will introduce myself a little bit. I'm a graphic designer basically, and I used to work as a graphic designer for last 10 years. Just now I've just quit and doing freelance. So just because I'm pregnant now and I'm 7 months pregnant, so my breath might go haywire while talking. So please excuse me. I'll try my best to give this presentation. I was a little nervous to like whether I will be able to speak or not in this condition, but I'll give my best. So right now I'm doing freelance from home, work from home, and in general, like coming to the topic of hijras is like transgender. Now, transgender is a thing which we say to a person who change their sex. Uh, Men gets converted into woman gets converted into uh, male. But what I'm going to talk about is the hijras. In India, we call them hijras, as they are in a male body. They born in a male body, but from inside, their inner feelings, um, even the way they feel from inside, their hormones are female hormones, and they want to like get ready as a female. They want to dress up like a female, put lipstick, um, wear sari. So their entire gesture started changing after some years when they born, and then they don't feel comfortable in their own male body. That's how they get they feel that they are not in a right body and they want to be a female, and that's how the entire story changes in their life. And we call them hijras in India, and transgenders all over the world basically. uh, so coming to my topic, how I started thinking about them. So basically, when I was in last year of my college in diploma, we had to do campaign, uh, which was, we can select any campaign, any subject. So these transgenders always used to like uh, make me feel uncomfortable, and like what is their life, how they are different, why they are different, why they are not similar like us. uh, and I always used to like have questions on their in general existence. So uh, so my topic was, I had taken unseen world of transgender was later. that time I did the project on Hijra's beauty parlor, because I have not seen Hijra's beauty parlor, and that time in 2010 around, like Lakme shows were happening on them. And they used to look so beautiful. Some used to look ugly, some used to look beautiful. So I always had to like wanted to understand what is it, where are these whether these beauty parlors are existing or not. So the curiosity started there, and then I spoke to my teachers, and they also got excited. They were like, you do research on this. And that's how I went to a research mode, where each and every, like whatever I want to do, I started doing research of that. uh, like how a basic understanding needs to like need it comes from research. Like I wanted to speak to them, I wanted to understand their life, how what's the story behind. And that's how I started researching. So campaign got completed that time, but then the uh, it got stuck in my mind that I want to do something for them, because the kind of homes I saw that time, the kind of lifestyle they had, the kind of how we as a society behave with them in India. I'm not sure on like how in other countries how their lifestyle is, or how society behaves with them. But in India, it's really bad. The way they are also humans. It just that they are born in a wrong body, uh, and that's how everything changes just because of that simple thing, that they are born in a wrong body, but they think that they are female, and society is ignoring or not accepting their existence. So that something was very disturbing for me. Their real families, like even mom and dad who born like gave a birth to them, they are also not ready to accept them. um, so that's how uh, things gets when they are in the age of 13 or 14. That's how their a that changes in the body start happening, and they want to have that in a uh, like what they are inside, they want to reflect that in outside also. And that's how the struggle starts, where the inner body like mind says something else, and the society is expecting something else, your real family is expecting something else. And then they start uh, having this struggle of what to do. And uh, and that happens when they are in the age of 13 or 14, and which is really small. Uh, as a in general, like if you think about your kids also, or any kid, or you yourself in age of 13 or 14, you don't even understand like how to behave or what to do, or what how the society is, what the world is. You are in a learning mode basically, and you are in a safe pampered zone of your parents. And that time they get very nervous, goes in a depression, want to do something which is not acceptable by the society or the parents. So and then there is no one who is understanding their feelings. So what they have to do is they have to leave the house, uh, and they go like they'll leave their homes, run away and go to the societies where like these hijra communities are there in smaller parts of Bombay. Like I stay in Bombay, that's why I'm talking about Bombay. and I've met a few hijras here. So that's how that's how their story starts, their life journey starts at the age of 13 or 14, where they have to leave their shelter and run away and find their, like, try to understand their existence. Now what? Like, they don't even know that they are hijras. They don't even know what's going wrong with their bodies, or what's going wrong with the society, why society is behaving like this suddenly. They people start talking, or uh, making them, like, mamu, hijra, all these different words they start giving them, uh, and then they don't understand what is this, why suddenly, friends are not friends, family is not family, mom, dad, sister, brother, everyone starts behaving differently. So that's the story of them, and that's how hijras are, um, like, start their journey basically. I'm going to share my screen, where I have started my, like, where my photography will talk a lot now. And, like, and I'll take you through these different hijras to whom I have met over the period of last 2 to 3 years. I'm going through this research. I've taken very few examples here. So the person you are seeing on the screen, I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, we can see.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah. So the person who you are seeing on the screen, his name is Jatin Maharaj. Uh, it's I'm feeling very sad to say that he's no more now. He just passed away 3 months back. He was suffering with various uh, like physical problems, but but he was a person who was really very, like, the aura, if you see on his face, was something, was very different. And he was very educated. uh, he was 10th pass, but still, uh, in general, like, general knowledge he had was really, like, amazing. He used to talk on different other subjects also, like economics, or any other, like, social subjects, economics, um, so politically also he was very knowledgeable. So he stood for, uh, as a, uh, what say, uh, for a election also from his area. And he got decent votes. But it was just because he was a social worker in general, so many people knew him uh, in his area. He used to help many small communities and hijras from his community. So basically, in hijras there are different, uh, I would say, um, different communities in hijras also. So this community which he was into was Zoktin community. So Zoktin is something which is, like, they do worship of Yallamma Devi. So he is uh, Jatin Maharaj with his gurus. uh, so that was his house in general when I went. And so they do worship of uh, god Yallamma, and he introduced me to the marriage of hijra, and that was something which was new to me, where I didn't knew that hijra also get married, and they have like all these functions and rituals. So this was some of the images from uh, hijra's marriage ceremony. They get married with god, and the marriage is only for it's called uh, uh, for 3 seconds. They get married only for 3 seconds, and then they get divorced. uh, like all these, it's called in typical world, it's called ran purnima. It happens in a month of December or something, and every year they do the same. They walk on these burn koilas and like whatnot. Like the whole scenario was happening at 12 at night in Ghatkopar. It was not so far also in heart of Bombay, next to Ghatkopar. It is very, like it's very nearby. And I was not believing on myself that I'm attending this kind of thing in Bombay, and there are so many people are involved. So I was feeling very sad in a way that in 21st century also, uh, these people are so stuck to these rituals which are not at all like taking them anywhere. And I don't know what's their future is like, and what's going to happen, like. But that's something which is happening from generations to generations, and still these things are going on, and people are feeling they were so um involved in all this that I was feeling amazed. I was like, I don't know, like how, like when and how they are going to come out of this, and how their future is going to change. So this was very disturbing for me when I attended these functions. So this was about like Jatin Maharaj and their whole Joktin community, and how, like, uh, Hijra's marriages gets placed, and what happens with their lives. So there is no, like, when I saw them, and I was like what's their, it's not their mistake also, and it's not it's mistake of a society, because they didn't accepted them when they were small, or their families didn't accepted them, and that's how they are going through all these. uh, and still, if we do not stop this, it's not going to stop ever, and they are going to remain same. So yeah, so that was this. Going to the next uh, dot. The left hand side, in yellow kurta, which you see, that's Devi. She's my favorite. And the right hand side, that's Kamali. That's Devi's guru. So they have, in Hijra community, they have guru chela system. And like whenever you get converted into Hijra community, uh, you become a chela of a guru. Otherwise, you are not allowed in a community. And even gurus have nayak. So in Bombay, there are 7 nayaks, and they all are like, it's like a family tree basically. And each guru has to take care of their chelas, and chelas also have to take care of their gurus. It's like a mother and daughter relation. And they always take care of them. They know what's happening with them. Even who is chela of which guru, who is guru of which chela, they all know everything. um, it's they say that it's a very small community, but when I see, it was very big for me to, like, to mark them, and like, but whenever I used to take anybody's name in front of anyone else, they used to know that, oh, that's his guru, or that's his chela. uh, they live here, they stay there. So that was very, like, surprising for me that, they know each other very well. uh, so basically, uh, I found her, Devi, the yellow kurta one, in train. So I used to go by train to office every day 9 o'clock, and she used to come in the same train for begging. But the attitude what she carries while she begs also, it was amazing. Like, she used to not beg, she used to, like, give, like, make people laugh. uh, like, people used to, like, myself also, like, used to be in a hurry, and, like, used to be in a tension mode, or, like, something or the other, like, uh, thing happen in a house, and, like, you're upset. So many ladies are like that in general local train of Bombay. And whenever she used to get in, she used to make people laugh. Um and, like, used to start releasing their pains. And I found that as a very different way of behavior. uh, as a beggar, you have that attitude of, like, chal paise de de, and, like, done with it. But she was not like that. She used to, like, she knows each and every person by name. uh, and even if she didn't get into the same train, uh, like, ladies used to call her and ask her, where are you, why you're not, are you ill, or what's wrong with you. So that was very different bonding which she created. So she was different. um, so that's Kamali and Devi on local station of Bombay. um, so her story is, her real name is Vagela. uh, she's from um, like, Marwadi Gujarati community of India. And she used to stay in like, VT, like, Masjid Bandar, Bombay side. And she had, like, she has two sisters and two brothers, and she was the one who was in a male body when she born. um, but when she got an understanding that she is not the same what she is currently, uh, so she was struggling with it. She used to wear dupattas of her sisters, uh, put lipstick of her sisters, and then her brother used to beat her when she was at the age of 12 or 13. And she always wanted to run away from the house. She don't wanted to stay at home. um, so then finally, like, her uh, cousin brother, he told her that, you belong to this hijra community, where they are not, um, they are similar to you. Basically, you go and meet them, you'll understand, uh, and you'll live your life very beautifully there. Your parents are not going to accept you. So all these things started going her mind, and then she ran away. She went to this Sayan Koliwada uh, hijra community. She reached there, and then she was basically was very shaken from inside, but still she was in a search of, like, uh, in her existence, of her existence. So she wanted to like go away and like wanted to live what she is from inside. That's why she left the house and she joined that community. She was not understanding what's happening with her, but then there was no option, and then she joined Hijra community. Um, then slowly the overall like rituals and understanding of their community was taking place, but she was happy that she was wearing sari, she was like putting lipstick, she was living what how she wanted, uh, and that was something satisfied her, and so she became chela of Kamli, who is next to her, and from then like at the age of 13 or 14, from that she's together with her, and be like taking care. Now she's Kamli is old and she is surviving with HIV, so she is taking care of her now as a daughter, and it's a very beautiful relationship. There is no uh, plus and minuses. Like there will be, obviously, but as a human, there are going to be like but but it's not a blood relation, but still their bonding was really good. Um, so that's the Devi's story. She's now at the age of 25, and she wanted to like learn more. Like she just studied 7th or 8th that time, and now she want to complete her 10th, 12th. She wants to become a IPS officer also. Now all these are just dreams. Like she's not been able to uh, getting to a she's not getting any admission also for like completing 10th or 12th, or there is no one for her to like make her learn more. Uh, so all these are difficulties in front of them, and they are trying to like solve. There are NGOs uh, which are working for hijras in India, in Bombay, uh, but many like very less hijras gets benefited from that. So even in lockdown last year, she was the one who did a video call to me, and she just like showed me all her empty dabbas at home, and she's like, I don't have any food or any penny to buy a single this thing. I don't know what to do. Nobody is helping me. Her guru also left Bombay and she went to Kolkata. Basically, she's from Kolkata, so she went to Kolkata. So she was all alone here. Nobody was helping her. Other community, like other hijras, also were suffering from the same thing. Government was not giving any like. Government was supporting to the one who had ration card. Now they don't even have ration card of their own, so they are not at all like part of India. Basically, they don't have any papers, Aadhaar card or PAN card or anything. So they were they didn't had any this thing. So they really suffered a lot. So then like me and Vikrant helped them during this pandemic, and like uh, so that was a very different overall uh, this thing which they went through, because local trains were shut, everything was shut, and their basic source of income is begging. Local train begging, in general begging, weddings, uh, all these are like ceremonial activities which they do as a hijra. So from there only they get earning. Even they do prostitution, uh, just to just for survival, nothing else. They don't have any uh, this thing about like having a sex with other person, but they don't have any choice. uh, so I was feeling whenever I used to hear these different stories from everyone, I always used to feel bad that we as a people, we always sometimes like how we were just talking about wants and needs, and I was just getting all these scenarios in front of me that how they're like, I always used to compare my life to their life, that how they are struggling with a simple things, with their existence as a human, which people are not accepting them. And you as a person has so many things, still why do we cry for small little things? So it's a very difficult life which they go through. uh, so that's Devi. And it's just the attitude of like how uh, yes, she was in a male body, but how, like, if you see their uh, grace as a girl, it's so attractive, like they're so beautiful in general. And that's how they want to live, and why we are not accepting them. So that was this these images are about. That's Kamali, and that's their house. So this is how they stay. uh this is Kamali's house basically. And so it was in a interior of a very old, like it was a new construction, but the construction was halfway, and they are staying in that same uh, halfway construction building, and that's how they stay and that's how they live there. So it was heartbreaking for me to see their house also, that uh, anything will fall from anywhere, what will anything will happen at any time. And they were happy, they were not at all there was
Happen at any
not
time.
single word where they
And
complained
they
about
were
their
happy.
life. And and when I started the introduction of Devi, I said that she used to entertain others and like make them feel comfortable and relax. And when I saw her entire uh, scenario of her life, I got shocked. I was like, how she is so happy and how she is making other people happy when she has so much going through her life. Um, so that's the attitude we should also carry in general, that whatever happens, you always need to be happy, and you always need to have that attitude going, and like have that this thing passed to other people also. So that was a very good learning from her. So when I started this project, I would have just captured these different hijras on the road, or just captured any this thing. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to understand their stories, understand their life, uh, their backgrounds, and then have that as a uh, learning point for me also. And uh, wanted to have put forward these different stories in front of the world, so that people will start understanding them differently. Like when we saw hijras or transgenders on the road, uh, we give them like 1 rupee or 2 rupee, or nowadays it is 5 or 10. And that story gets ended there. We don't know who's that person is, what's the story behind her, why she's behaving like this or begging like this in a local train or on a road. uh, so that's how I wanted to I wanted to show that through my photography and research, that this is how their life is, and It's not just about money, it's about a smile, it's about understanding their life, it's about just talking two words with them sometimes, which will make them feel good also, because uh, as a society we get fearful about them, and that's how we give money to them, that they will do something to us. So let's just give money and shut the matter. But that's not the real scenario. We should behave similar to how we will behave with our friends or sisters or cousins. So, and which make them feel happy also, in general. That's their house. And they were very happy, they were very there was no any uh, this thing on their faces also, that they are going through so many things, or they have such a difficult life. So these are just different captures which I had. Now coming to the next hijra, that's Madhuri Sarode Sharma. She was Maharashtrian, married to Sharma, uh, North Indian. And if you look at her, she don't even look like hijra. She was so beautiful that uh, her husband, like who she got married to, he also didn't knew, um, so that she is hijra basically. They connected through Facebook, and he always used to chat with her, or message her that you are so beautiful, I want to marry you. Uh, so she always used to ignore him. But then after 3 years, he was still behind her. And then one day she felt very bad for him, and then she herself told him that you're not understanding what I am. I'm hijra, I'm not female. And so still, he was so much in love with her that he accepted everything, and he married to her. And being a North Indian, it was difficult to make his family get in involved in all this, and make them understand that uh, he is getting married to hijra. uh, in Indian culture, that is also something which was very this was the first open marriage in India. uh, so that was very difficult challenge for him, but he accepted that. And really, I I was saluted him that this is something, this act which he did was so good, that now they are having a good married life. And she's out of that community of hijra, like she's there, she does different activities also for hijras. She's in an NGO, like she runs an NGO with different other hijras, and all that she does for community. But she has a now small family, and she want to have that as a, now she wants to um take a child as a this thing, um what to say, uh,
Adoption?
adopt, yeah, sorry. She wanted to adopt a child because she cannot give a birth to a child. But uh, it's not allowed in India still, that hijra can adopt a child. Only male and female can adopt a child. Hijras cannot adopt a child. Now she has uh, given this thing to Indian government also, and she is following on that. Like all these different rights which male and female has, these rights should they should also get. There are many rights which are not they are not eligible for, so they are struggling through that. uh, so yeah, so that's Madhuri. She's a dancer. She's a uh, NGO. She like works in an NGO group also. So activist, and she was very great. She's very graceful also. Like if you see at first glance, you don't even feel like you won't understand that she is a Hira. She talk also. Her voice was also very beautiful. So that's her house. With her husband, and they have pets as a like he runs a business of a pet. So that's her house, and that's migrant with in Bombay. So they're all very welcoming. Whenever like when I go to them, when I ask them, I want to shoot you, your house. I want to shoot, and I want to understand your the whole journey of like how what happened with you and like how you're going through. So they are very happy in general. They don't even like have any
It looks like her. We
lost her, I believe.
Yeah, Siddhi, are you able to unmute? Let's see if...
Hello.
Hello, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. I think something went wrong with my internet.
Yeah, no worries. We hear you.
Yeah. I think I stopped here only, right?
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Okay. So that's Madhuri. This one is the next one. Karina Sheikh. She is a taxi driver in one minute. She's yeah. So she's a taxi driver with TCS company in India, in Bombay, and she's the first taxi driver who is like doing this kind of job uh, to make her and her family survive. She's staying with her two nieces and basically her brother's uh, kids. Her brother passed away, and then she is now responsible for the whole house. So she take care of them. Now she also, you would have had this thing about like she would have just begged in a train or something, or she could have did prostitute work and like survive, had the survival, but she chose this uh, as her earning source, and then she wanted to like do something different. So she started learning taxi, like car, and then she is now a full-time taxi driver with TCS company. Now to get into TCS also, there was different NGOs which worked for them, and then that's how she got selected. And then she like TCS employees also, they get they are comfortable when they are in her car, uh, girls or boys. Mostly girls also, like even they are happier to like meet her, to go with her um, in her car. So that was very different to like now her story is also similar, that she ran away from her house when she was 13, 14. Her dad and her brother used to beat her uh, as she used to wear sari or like wear lipstick of her mom's. So she is from Latur, a different this thing from state from Maharashtra, different this region from Maharashtra, and then she ran away and came to Bombay. And that's how she get into this hijra community, and then started living with them. But yeah, like for survival she started doing this. So that's Karina. So I just kept this picture to like uh, because whenever we used to go to their homes, they always made us like eat with them. And it was very good to like have this bonding, to like create this bonding with them, and like have dinner or lunch with them, and like have these uh, this thing with them to like make their life uh, it was very comfortable. It was not at all difficult. It was we as of this thing, we get so fearful when we see them and like behave like oh, like we don't want to talk with them, or like we don't want to like have any connection with them. But it's very nice for them also to like when we as a society come forward and like and start understanding their life, they also gets uh, happier, and like they like to share their entire journey. So that was beautiful. Now this is the last one. Just 2 minutes. That's Vicky Shinde. um, she's an activist. She has her own foundation, Shiv Shakti Foundation for Hijras and poor people. Uh, and um, she's beautiful, basically. Matlab, she also had the same story, but she never ran away from house. She stayed with her house family, and her family accepted her the way she is. Uh, she stays in this. If anyone knows, in Varli BDD Chol, she stays there in 10 by 10 area with her family, mom, dad, sister. Uh, that's her building. Look at the grace and the attitude which they have. It's amazing. So that's her house. She is also from a Joktin community, and that's her mom, and that's her sister and sister's husband and a daughter, and that's how their house is. And her dad was also there, and she's from the same community of Joktin, which I talked about in the previous Jatin Maharaj. So she also does worship of Yallama Devi and all that. But with that, she studied also. She completed her studies. She is um, doing very good activist this thing for her community as well, for the poor community of Bombay. In lockdown also she did many helping hands to different communities of other this thing, not just hijras, but to people, to other like poor people also she helped a lot. So and it was like I was amazed. I wanted to like understand from her mom also that how, what they feel, or how, like whether there are difficulties to accept that uh Vicky, her name is Vicky. uh she born in a male structure, and then now she is like in a society behave like a woman. She wear a sari and go to work. She is basically working also. uh, she is with uh, a legal firm, and she is working as a receptionist there. So that was also amazing, like how she started her journey. And she is with a legal firm. That's how like she got an understanding of like legal activities and all these legal factors of how she can help poor people who don't understand legal formalities, and like how she can like make them aware of all these. So she's doing very good this thing about like having these running this foundation and like helping uh, poor people problems. So her mom dad was very happy. They were i- when they got to know in a start, that time they were little bit upset, but then they accepted that, and they were okay with that, that that's how their child is, and we have to support her. And because of their support, she is so strong. In general, like the way she like the activities she does in general, and overall like what she does in her life. She's very like she's the one who runs the whole family now, and they are uh, their family is proud about her, that Vicky is their child. So I feel like whatever your child is, you have to accept how they are, what they are, and just like give them a human rights. That's it. So I'm going to stop here. uh, that was just like few examples which I had and I wanted to share with you guys, and like have these different stories to make you understand that this is how people and like hijras in India go through. And uh, will try to like now I've taken break, but definitely I'm going to keep this project running and going to help them with different things. So yeah.
That was really beautiful, Siddhi. I feel like you took us through their stories, their narratives, their lives, with such beautiful photography, such beautiful interpretation. I think that was amazing. That was such an amazing talk. I really enjoyed every second of it. I know there is somebody who is ready with a question, but I also wanted to open the conversation with the question from my end too. So I will take that privilege and ask the first question, and then open it up for other folks too. And there are so there are a couple in line. So, and you are welcome to do what you feel you want to do. In terms of, do you want to take a couple of questions together and then answer, or you want to answer each question together? We can do whatever you feel comfortable with.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think my question is around so my own master's thesis work was on Devdasi system, and so I was able to learn a bit more about Yelama and how goddess Yelama is worshipped and how that's kind of like works around in the society. And I didn't focus much on the transgender aspect, but and because there is very less literature available, but it was really fascinating for me to know that you kind of like came in touch with them and you were able to understand that aspect. So I wanted to understand more about the caste aspect in there. So did the hijras, the transgender folks that you met, who were from the Jogti community, were they like from the Dalit community? Was that something that was being forced because they were from the community, or did you see that more of it, as a choice? Because in especially in the Dalit women's case, that's not a choice that folks have. So I just wanted to understand that as a understanding of that. Um, so, Siddhi, do you want to take other questions too along with this, or do you want to answer just one each?
Yeah, 1 inch is fine.
Okay, then please go ahead. And then we have Satiji, we have Deepak, and then we have Sanjay ji. So I'll go in that order, but you can, we'll start with you as the first answer.
Yeah. So this question I always like whenever I give a talk, this question always get raised that were these like where you see this caste system in hijras also, and like were they like forced to like do this because they are from that community. But that was not the case basically. It's different in general. Like the last one, Vicky Shinde, which we saw, she is not from Dalit community. She is from, I think, Maratha community, uh, Kshatriya community. But uh, she herself wanted to do Yalama, this thing, worship and all that from her grandparents, like from her village side. So she herself took that as a privilege, and she is doing that. But still she is doing all these NGO and all these other activities also. But the first one which we saw, Jatin Maharaj, uh, he was from a Dalit community. And even in general, there are 12, around 10 to 12 uh, in Joktin, this thing also, they have different systems. So uh, Aradhi, Pardhi, all these different small communities were there in Joktin community. So in there also, she used to get different people from different community. It was not forced to be that she is from this community and that's how she will have to do this kind of a job. So that was not the scenario. Then the Devi, third one, Devi, she was also she's Waghela basically. So she is from like Marwadi Bhangi community of India, and so, but she lived her life the way she wanted. She was not forced to to do something which was uh, asked to do, or like because she is from that community. Or so in that also, like this Karina Sheikh, she was Muslim. So there are Muslims also in this uh, all this system. There are Hindus also. There are different type of this thing, but then they all uh, they have different systems also in that. But still, like they are not forced to like do something which is connected to like each other. This thing. So there is this Vicky Shinde, the last one. She is now doing social activity with Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi of Prakash Ambedkar. So she is being activist with them. Now she is not from Dalit community, but she feels that Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi and Prakash Ambedkar, what they are doing for poor people and like Dalit community and all that, she wanted to do serve with her this thing. So she's being like with them and like doing all these activities. So uh, it was not strongly which I've like I will have to like even I'm going to do research in that manner also when I'm going to meet next hijras. But that's how I have seen till now, that it's not very caste oriented system which they have.
Okay. Thank you, Siddhi. That was really, really enlightening. Thank you. I would request Satiji, if you want to ask your question, to go ahead.
Yeah, I have two questions. How do you differentiate between the hijra and a gay, a transgender and a gay person, and then do they get sexual satisfaction with their partners, and how do they work as some of them work as prostitutes, because the person who is looking for a prostitute, he may not want a gay person. I don't know all these things. So can you go into that?
I got your question. So basically, they are in a male body, and their this thing is also, penis is also like, which is unformed. How, like, how they raise, get older in their age, and then the organ doesn't get uh, increased as a male body. And when they converted into hijra, they have this um sex change system also, which they have in their community, where they convert the male portion to a female uh, vagina. It is not real, but they try to mock that up from that. And that's the whole operation which they go through. And uh, it's not legally allowed also, but still they have this procedure and whatnot. And even like now when they do prostitution also, it's their bread and butter, and it's just because of their survival they had to do that. But they suffered a lot through that, because their or like the organ is not original. uh, they suffer a lot, and they don't even have doctors to go to. Then they do self medications with haldi and uh, like home remedies, whatever they have, tulsi and all that. And with that, they will recover themselves. So that was also a painful part which they go through. And that's very dangerous, as a, like, for a health, in a health reason. And they get like they get HIV also because of that. And there are multiple stuff which, there this thing goes through. But yeah, like, that's something which is painful. And if I compare, like, you asked about gay and transgender. uh, Gays are basically, they don't want to wear a sari, or they don't want to like behave like a girl, or they don't want to do a sex change also. Their breasts are also not get this thing, like here in the case of hijras, they they get converted completely. They do breast enhancement, all these procedures also they do. And it's cost a lot. But still they want to look beautiful, and, like, wear a sari, put a bindi, put a lipstick, and all these things. They want to, like, have that. uh, and that's how they get converted. But gays are not that. Gays are, they stay in their uh, uh, existent body itself. And they have they do sex with male also, and this thing. But here they get hijras gets attracted towards male, not to female. So they are not bisexual. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Siddhi. And if I may add, because my background is also in women gender sexuality studies, so I think the difference is biologically your biological body and the sexuality. So like for gays it's more about sexuality. So just mentioning out there, if you want to, there's a lot of literature available. You can go online and you can check a lot of literature about some of those questions as well.
Yes,
So
yes.
moving forward, I'll ask Deepak to please ask your question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deepak Barkhade, can you, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Siddhi. This is Deepak. It was very good presentation. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
My question is I do have two questions. First question is what do you think does become more relevant to mobilize this group of hijras in your observation? For example, in all different stories, so for example, how Jatin Maharaj actually he belonged to Dalit community, but he could remove the gap which actually was related to untouchability by bringing social rituals, all those rituals, so people could come to near her and manage that social kind of gap. And different examples showed that there was a case of Madhuri uh, who actually who has actually NGO kind of affiliation. And when we see other stories, we see a private space where someone is given a good job to express her dignity, self-respect. So we see different sites where people are mobilized. So which side do you find more relevant? This is my first question. Because I ask this question because despite the fact that they have that aspiration for literacy, they are overage in the sense now they are no more in their youth, most probably. So now the time for literacy and such space has gone. So what do you think, where do they stand to find themselves more relevant to express themselves? This is my first question. Let me ask this question first only. Yeah. Okay, you can.
Can you please ask both questions?
I'll answer this question.
I have a couple of questions in line, so if you want to just ask your second.
Okay. And this, I mean, second question is simple, straightforward. I would ask, what do you think about the leadership of hijras in future? How do you look at them as leader in coming times? Yeah, this is second.
So I'll give answer to the second one first. They are doing really good. Like in leadership, like they are participating in politics also of India now, and they are raising questions on their existence themselves now. Like in earlier times, we used to help them to bring them up. Now they have uh, power in themselves and want to come forward and talk about their problems and fight for their problems, and they are coming in a big way. There are different hijras who are part of this Vanchit community. I'm giving this example, Bahujan Aghadi, Prakash Ambedkar, who is leading the community, who is leading the party. They have a separate this thing for hijras, and they themselves have different these things for themselves. So it's going to be very big nowadays and in coming times, and hope uh, uh, many good thing happens for them, and there are all the problems and issues whatever they have, it should get solved one by one. So they are really struggling and being very strong about that. Now coming to the first question, uh, what was that? It was about standing about this thing. So yes, like it. I will say it is depending upon the hijra himself, herself, because if they don't want to, like, do something with their life, they are not going to reach anywhere. And that I have seen with many hijras, where like this Devi, um, uh, whom I met in train, she's a very good performer. She want to do many things her life, but she herself is not been able to, like, do what she wants to. So something or the other is, like, making her uh, not not do what she wants, or I don't know what's her problem is in her life. But yeah, like Vicky, the last one which we saw, she's an activist, and she has a great support from her family, so she's doing really good. Like she's doing job also, she's doing being in all these NGO activities and all that also. Even Madhuri is herself she's a Lavani dancer, so she does that. Plus uh, she's in a NGO activities and all that. So that way it is their choice or their life or their way of, like, looking at their this thing, that how they want to come up and, like, do something about that what they are going through. So yeah, I hope I gave a good this thing. I don't know.
Thank you, Siddhi. So now I want to invite our Bhante Kuslaji. He wants to ask you a question.
Oh.
Not really praise you for the work you do, Siddhi. Amazing that you are 7 months pregnant and you are still holding this conversation just like nothing. And these are very tough conversations to have in the society, to bring people together and raise awareness in matters like this. So to not make you tired, I will not ask questions. I just love that people like you, who has IT backgrounds, reaching out to these people. Am I right that you have IT? No, you have design background. That
No,
you reach out to
design background.
Design background. You reach out to them, you sit with them, have food with them. They are just like us. To the audience, I would say, like,
Yes.
what if I come out and say I'm a transgender person? So you would treat me the same way you used to. That's what I expect.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to tell by looking at somebody's body, what they are, dealing with from inside. So we need to be very sensitive when we talk about these matters, and we all have been that way. In Sri Lanka, I don't see people getting into trains and asking for money. I wish, before they start doing anything like that, if we can alter their pathways in life, before they get into asking money on a train. As a foreigner, I have heard, I've never been on a train in India. I've only flown because I wanted to avoid this experience, honestly. Not that I hate them, but I just, the journeys are too long, and, overnight journeys we all would prefer something else when we want to travel. But I have had friends who have faced this, and they sometimes give money and sometimes they don't have the money to give. And as you have clearly shown that, some of these people have chosen different lifestyles, that, they didn't want to do this. They didn't ask this experience when they were born in the first place, right? They didn't ask to be transgendered.
No.
So nobody asks what we get. So this could be us in a future lifetime. This is how we need to think about this, because bioorganisms are changing over the evolution's terms, which we don't know how it's going to evolve. So I think I wish I did my doctorate on these subjects, because I see in the United States my friends who dress like a woman, who have altered their body parts, and they completely behave normal like a woman, because that's how they associate the world. And sometimes people don't really, I mean, they themselves don't understand what is happening to them, and they may do some silly mistakes, like falling in love with a man, not knowing how to really present themselves to a man. A man generally looks for certain body features of a woman, and a transgendered woman, without having those body features, will have the feelings toward this man and would care for them, look after them, and do so much. But when it comes to having reciprocity, having their love returned to them, they struggle. This goes on to other ends, like stalking. A lot of psychological issues are originating from that kind of mind. So in Buddhism, I say that, I have heard, and I always share this with children, that being gay, being transgendered or bi, or none of these matter in the heart of awakening, because all we do is dealing with our own lobha, dosa, and moha, greed, hatred, and delusion. So we all have that path available. I wish, Buddhism is more available for these people. So I will welcome them to the temples and say, be monks, you have better job to do in the world. So,
Yes.
and the Buddha would do the same thing. He was a social reformist, and
Yeah.
he didn't stop being the Buddha. He did social reform. And I am a son of the Buddha, so I should do the same. I wish in the future we partner together and give a voice to these people. So
Oh wow.
thank you. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you,
Thank
Bhanteji.
you.
That was really beautiful. We have a great question in the chat box. So I'll take that, Siddhi, for you first.
Yeah.
So Manoj Chambarkar, he's asking, do they have any separate legal rights for their rehabilitation? And how does government support them?
Yeah, like there are Nalsa judgment which like got passed in 2014, but still then like BJP government came into India on 2014, and then everything changed. So like all these legal rights, whatever, like they uh, had, and like got signed in Congress when Congress was there. Now all that changed in BJP government. So all these different things, it's ongoing. It's not something which is getting finalized for them in the like government support. If I talk about, just that, like talked about, where they don't even have Aadhaar card or ration card of their on their names, uh, so they don't get any facilities. Some has, some doesn't have, because of their family issues also. uh, so there are like different all these different issues which they go through. Government don't have any support to them, even when they had this now there is a new system where government has said that they will agree and give a card where they will say that they are transgenders or hijras after seeing their bodies. And that was something which was disturbing again for them, that how a person will agree on your what you are after seeing a body, that if you don't have a female body or converted version of a hijra, then you are not hijra, you are not, like legally on paper you are not hijra. And just because of this system, many hijras are getting like converted. They're converting their body postures also. And it uh, the surgery also costs a lot, like 2 lakhs, 4 lakhs, uh, that way, and they don't have like that much support, like with begging how much will they earn. So that's something which is another part, like story which is like raised up in this government. So it's very difficult, and they are fighting for
Very
themselves.
distressing. Yeah, it's very distressing to hear that. Yeah, it's
Yes.
really. So since we are almost about time, we have two more people who want to ask questions. So I think we'll do that quickly. We also don't want to hold Siddhi too long. You have been so kind and at presenting, and you have been so wonderful answering
No,
questions.
it's 10 o'clock now, and my
I
baby
know it's
now
late.
want to
it's
have
very late.
food.
You haven't eaten? Okay, so I think we'll close the session then. So, like, I'm just going to take my discretion and we'll close it. We are very, very happy that
I'm really sorry.
No, we are very happy that you have been able to come and you have been able to present. And I think the last congratulations on the baby coming along. And the last message that you shared about we have to accept our child, our children as they are. I think that's really beautiful. As a person who's going to be a mother soon, I feel coming from you that is really, really powerful. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us and your work with us. It's really amazing.
Thank you.
So thank you everyone for very engaging conversations and for being here. And we really want to thank Siddhi. We have there were some beautiful thank you notes coming up.
Yes, I saw.
So so that's great. So very nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya.
Jai Bhim, Namo
Bhim.
Buddhaya.
Good time.
Thank
Yeah.
you.